Hey folks, this is Gabe at Security Baron, and today I'm reviewing TrustZone VPN. In today's review of TrustZone VPN, I'm gonna go over the pros and cons, feature set, run some speed and leak tests, check out its subscription options, customer support, before finally jumping into its mobile application to make sure you have all the information you need to make the right decision. If you'd like to see a list of our favorite VPNs, Google Security Baron Best VPNs. If you have a question about today's review, leave us a comment and I'll get back to you. All right, let's look at the pros and cons of TrustZone VPN, beginning with the pros. Now, they're based in the Seychelles, which is not a part of any international surveillance alliance. On top of that, they're one of the most affordable VPNs out on the market, with their most expensive plan just costing $6.99 a month, which is pretty stellar when it comes to pricing. Now, on the con side, they don't have an iOS app. So if you want to use it on your iPhone, you have to go through OpenVPN and configure it that way. But we'd love to see an iOS specific app for TrustZone VPN. And finally, you will not be able to do any split tunneling, so you can't be on a private and public network at the same time with TrustZone VPN. So now that we've gone over the pros and cons for TrustZone VPN, let's check out its feature set, beginning with data logging policy. Now, I'm a fan of the data logging policy with TrustZone VPN. I mean, they're already located in the Seychelles, but they also don't keep any of your web traffic or any other activity that you're going through, IP addresses, nothing like that. They only retain your email address. On top of that, they do have the kill switch option engaged. In that sense, you don't have to worry about the VPN disconnecting and all of your information being exposed. They have something called a kill switch, also known as a network lock feature, that will make sure that the moment the VPN disconnects, all of your browsing, web apps, whatever is immediately stopped so as to not expose you to a public network. Continuing with the feature set of TrustZone VPN, let's check out split tunneling. And unfortunately, it doesn't work. You cannot be on a public and private network while using TrustZone VPN, and you're gonna be eating up all that bandwidth because you don't have that ability. Now, if you look at Netflix, it kind of works with TrustZone VPN. We found one server in the United States to work, one in Canada to work, one in the UK to work, and un en France to work. So it kind of was something possible in the United States, UK, Canada, and France, but don't expect Netflix to work on each of their servers. All right, now that we've looked at some pros, some cons, some features, let's run some tests for TrustZone VPN. Now I'm gonna run a speed test, a DNS leak test, and a WebRTC leak test. And to do so, I'm going to use an Asus VivoBook, a MacBook Air in Brooklyn on the Optimum network, just so you have a little bit of background on what we're using to conduct these tests. All right, let's start with speed. Now, when it came to download speed, TrustZone caused less of a delay on my Windows, only slowing down by 14%. compared to a 44% decrease on the Mac. Similarly, for upload speed, TrustZone only slowed me down by 13% on the Asus VivoBook compared to 34% on the Mac. Now, I want to be clear, these are actually pretty impressive speeds for both, but it's clear that the Windows computer is performing better speed-wise. Now, finally, I tested for latency, otherwise known as ping. Now here, surprisingly, I had about a third more latency on my Mac compared to 54% more latency on my VivoBook. Overall, however, the Windows computer definitely was faster with TrustZone than my Mac. So the next test we conduct is a DNS leak test. DNS stands for Domain Name Server, and it's essentially what undergirds any of that information when you type in google.com in terms of the IP address. Fortunately, with TrustZone VPN, there were no leaks, came back clean, so we're good with the DNS leak test for the TrustZone VPN. The last test we're gonna run today is the WebRTC leak test. WebRTC stands for Web Real-Time Communication. And it's used by browsers like Opera, Chrome, and it's whenever two computers or two devices connect directly and bypass any intermediary server. Now, what that means is that you could be exposed to whoever's on the other side of a large file transfer, live stream, or video chat. Fortunately, with TrustZone VPN, we didn't have any leaks during our WebRTC testing. All right, hold on, quick break. I hope you're enjoying our review of TrustZone VPN, but they don't have a split tunneling feature. We're wondering, is that important to you? Is it a deal breaker? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, now that we've checked out the pros, cons, features, and run a few tests on TrustZone VPN, let's check out its subscription options. Now, you can try it out for free in 151 locations around the world, and you get 1 gigabyte of data transfers. But you honestly might as well go ahead and sign up for it, because if you sign up for 1 month, it's $6.99 a month. Sign up for an entire year up front, it's only $3.33 a month. And if you sign up for 2 years, it's $2.66 a month, and unlimited bandwidth and server switches. Now you can only connect 3 devices simultaneously to TrustZone VPN, which is a little bit on the lower side. But overall, it is definitely one of the most affordable plans for a VPN server out on the market. Let's move on to the customer support for TrustZone VPN, and this one is a bit of a head scratcher. In fact, you can only use the online help center or fill out an online form to get any help with TrustZone VPN. So no phone support, which is typical for VPNs, but also no live chat. And then this is where things got really weird. We actually couldn't find any reviews anywhere for TrustZone VPN. So honestly, you're gonna have to trust our anecdotal experience. And our experience was pretty positive. We wrote them some questions in an online form, and they got back to us within 24 hours. And they were pretty thorough answers and what we were looking for. So that's the only thing we can really say about the customer support for TrustZone VPN. The final thing that we'll check out today for TrustZone VPN is its mobile application. Now, TrustZone VPN is available on a host of internet browsers and operating systems, but we want to focus on the mobile application. And here it's also a bit strange that you cannot find TrustZone VPN in the App Store. So if you're an iPhone user, there is not a dedicated app for TrustZone VPN. However, if you're on Android, they do have it in the Google Play Store, and it actually does pretty well with the 4.3 out of 5-star ratings. But let's go ahead and check it out on our Android device. All right, let's check out TrustZone VPN on our Moto G6 Play. Now, if I just want to look at TrustZone and just enter the first server that it's already in, I just tap on that yellow shield, meaning that it's disconnected, and you'll note now that it's winding up, it's trying to connect. Give it a second, and I'm certain that we'll get connected. And when you see that, boom, green, now we're on the US East Coast server. Now, let's look at the status. Here you'll note that we've gone back to our free test subscription. We had a paid subscription for a while here at Security Baron, and now we're looking, and this is the status of it. Now, let me check out the other servers. Now, what I like is that you have various continents broken down. So we've got Africa, Asia, Europe, United States, North America, which maybe is that distinct from United States, South America, and Oceania. So I can look at Canada, United States, just the United States, where I am right now, or let's check out Europe. So let's see if we can get into, let's try Sweden. Now, Sweden, maybe it lets us jump in. Note that, boom, no, it's failed to connect to the Swedish TrustZone VPN. Now, these don't work for a host of reasons, but you shouldn't really fret too much because I'm sure you'll be able to jump into another one. So let's try Hong Kong, lovely place. Used to love hanging out in Causeway Bay. Would hang out there, you know, get some clothes before heading back to mainland China. Now, boom, here we are connected to TrustZone. Green shield means we're connected. And now my phone, for all intents and purposes, is in Hong Kong. So if I want to disconnect, I'll click on that green shield and boom, here I am. And let's look at the settings. Now the settings are pretty straightforward. You typically want to use that OpenVPN VPN port, which we're using now. And we go back to settings. We can of course exit, look at some more servers. I will note that for Africa, it's pretty limited. It's just South Africa. South America, also pretty limited. Just Brazil here, at least in the free test version. So you wanna just check it out because remember, this is one of the more affordable VPNs out there. And we actually really like how simple and intuitive it is. It not super complicated, but it doesn't have to be. And agora estamos no Brasil. Here we are in Brazil on the app. And it's kind of nice that we got the Brazil colors for this app: green, yellow, and blue. So that's me checking out TrustZone VPN on a Moto G6 Play. All right, we've come a long way, and you're wondering, is TrustZone a zone I want to be in? And honestly, yeah, if you like affordability, a minimal logging policy, and quick Windows speeds, yeah, TrustZone VPN has all that going for it. Now, if you're someone who's attached to an iOS-specific application or split tunneling, then sure, you might want to check someone else out. But overall, TrustZone VPN hits all the right notes for a VPN at an incredible price point. So it's definitely a solid choice for VPN. So that concludes our review of TrustZone VPN. If you appreciated today's video, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. As always, this is Gabe with Security Baron. Be secure.